Find out which wide receiver is moving up in Dave's rankings, what to know from training camp, and what to know from our PPR mock draft right now on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Welcome, everybody. It's Adam Azer and Dave Richard here on a Thursday morning for you on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Just before we started recording, Dave said he moved CeeDee Lamb ahead of Amari Cooper in his PPR rankings. Explain yourself.
I think that CeeDee Lamb can offer the same floor as Amari Cooper, and I think he can offer a higher ceiling. He's healthier right now. Let's face it, Amari Cooper's on the PUP list, and I know it's dumb to buy into the hype of training camp highlights, but it seems to me like everybody on the Cowboys roster is happy to throw him a football, whether he's covered or not. And I just think he's got a chance to, not that he wasn't great at contested catches last year. In fact, Cooper was better just overall, but I think he can come down with a bunch of them. And I think he's just going to end up being the top target getter in Dallas. It's kind of a hunch play. We've seen it before where the second year receiver takes over for the veteran that's been there. And I'm just every time I draft Amari Cooper, and I find myself doing it a lot, I'm going, am I sure I'm drafting the right receiver in Dallas? And I think CeeDee Lamb just has a better overall package. And maybe it'll end up, if everybody ends up doing it too, then maybe Cooper will end up being a good value. But for now, I'm more comfortable taking Lamb. I think he's more fun. And I think he's got a terrific floor, right around 15 PPR points per game, maybe a little lower than that for the floor, but the ceiling could be like wide receiver 1 good.
Okay, so that's the wide receiver moving up in the rankings. Let's talk about a running back that could move up. Michael Carter was getting first-team reps for the Jets. How significant do you think that is?
I think it's important, and I like Michael Carter as far as the talent goes. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. He was actually sneaky good at it. He kind of surprised the reporters in New Jersey during minicamp, and maybe we'll see some flashy catches from him in training camp and in scrimmages and whatnot. But I wrote this on the website. The running back depth chart, if you take away Michael Carter in New York, reads like a team in fantasy that's been decimated by injuries. It's Tevin Coleman, it's LaMichael Pirine, it's Ty Johnson, it's Josh Adams. It's totally underwhelming, not exciting at all. And I bet the Jets see the real talent that this rookie has, and they're throwing him out there to the Wolves against the starting unit right away, and they're going to see what he can do. Now, it wouldn't surprise me in the least if we saw reports about Tevin Coleman's running with the ones, and LaMichael Pirine is running with the ones. It wouldn't surprise me if that were to happen, but if we keep hearing about Michael Carter on an almost daily basis being that first guy up for the Jets at running back, then I think we can kind of pencil him in to be at least 12 touches right off the bat for the Jets in week 1.
Dave, you took a running back with each of your first 3 picks in our 12-team PPR mock draft that we completed on Tuesday night. You can see the results of that draft on the website, cbssports.com/fantasy/football. What did you like or dislike about starting with 3 running backs from the 7 spot?
I didn't really dislike much because I was happy with the receivers that I got to make up for it. You know, when you're going to spend that much draft capital on running backs early on, you know your receivers aren't going to be amazing. And there were plenty of teams in the draft that did have amazing wide receivers, but I don't know. I felt like I had amazing running backs. I was able to come away with 3 studs. When David Montgomery is your 3rd running back, I think you're doing really well. And I was comfortable waiting a little bit on a quarterback. I got Dak Prescott, so I guess I didn't necessarily wait till the back half of the draft to do it, but I got good value getting him. I think it was round 6 when I got Dak Prescott. That's pretty good. I don't think people can expect to see that in their drafts. So that helped make the team strong. And I didn't mind the receivers either. I think that the team will be just fine, even though I don't have a top 12 wide receiver from my rankings on the squad. A lot of guys that you probably like. Will Fuller is one of the receivers. Chase Claypool is one of the receivers. I think Godwin is one of the receivers. If those 3 guys are my starting receivers, obviously Fuller can't be in week 1, but I'm okay with that. I think I think Godwin carries a safe floor. Claypool has upside. Fuller has upside. And I've got Marquise Brown on the bench. He carries upside too. Those are the type of receivers I'm happy to have on my team when I know I've got my running backs locked up early on. And that's a position that will be very hard to fill comfortably once you get past round 4 or 5 in your draft.
Mm-hmm. And Dave's 3 running backs are Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, and David Montgomery with his first 3 picks. Check out that draft on the website, and we will talk to you tomorrow on Fantasy Football Today.